12 months ago, we were 10 points clear on top of the AFL ladder. We went up to Gold Coast last year. We managed a few players. We lost to Gold Coast by 6 points. And the rest has been history for the last 12 months. We went from 10 points clear on top of the AFL ladder in 2025, losing the Gold Coast by 6 points, losing the Fremantle by a point, also managing players in that game as well. Went from 10 points clear to 2 points clear, and then losses to Brisbane, Hawthorn, Adelaide. We went from first to fourth. We won a qualifying final against Adelaide. We got the win back, Adelaide Oval, and then we lost to Brisbane after being up by 13 points at half time. Home preliminary final, and the rest has been history. We're 10 wins, I think 13 losses, and a draw in the last 12 months since the last financial year, is what I saw online. Yeah, we're a bottom eight side in the past 12 months, and we're going back to Gold Coast this week. Round 17 action against Gold Coast up there, 4:15 p.m. start, People First Stadium. The VFL side taking on Brisbane at Coburg, Murray Plant Park. Overlap as well because the VFLW also playing in Craigieburn. I'll post on Instagram the results of those games. No VFL report. I could sneak it in, but we got the Socceroos as well, 4 a.m. Saturday morning, so going to be a tiring day. The review to round 17 will be up on Sunday morning, barring any exceptional, outstanding, or any bullshit results in the AFL against Gold Coast. But again, we're going up to Gold Coast where it all fell apart for us last year. And to be fair, it also fell apart for us in 2024. We beat North Melbourne by a point, 9 goals down early third quarter, had the bye, came back from the bye, and then we lost to Gold Coast by 11 points. The same circumstances as well. Down by about 5 goals at three-quarter time. Bullshit comeback, got in front, and then 2 minutes later, Ben Long kicks the goal to put Gold Coast back in front. Then there's another bullshit goal for Gold Coast to extend the lead, and they're able to hold on for a win. A statement win as well for Gold Coast. That's what I'm sick of with Gold Coast. I actually prefer Gold Coast over GWS in terms of the expansion sides, but I'm sick of the statement wins. And that's more of a media driven sort of thing. Last year, James Brayshaw saying the Gold Coast Suns had arrived. It was a very good win for Gold Coast last year against us, but they've played a final. They beat Fremantle over in Optus Stadium for their elimination final. Crazy game that was. Q Clash semi-final they lost. We could have faced Gold Coast in the prelim final last year, but Brisbane winning that one. So there's no, I don't think there's a statement win to be had. They've had their massive club history win. Elimination final last year. They've beaten us multiple times to dub it a statement win. Beaten us at the MCG once. They've beaten us 4 times up there, and the average winning margin for them's been just over 7 points. And I can't stand the statement wins. And this is a massive game as well for us and for them as well. Gold Coast on a 5-game losing streak. Collingwood, we've won the last 2 games against Port Adelaide and Richmond. There's a bit of conjecture regarding our performances, bit of dour wins, and to be honest, I can't disagree with it. But I think a 1 point win over Gold Coast here would mean a much, much bigger feat compared to our wins over Port Adelaide and Richmond. 34 points over Richmond last week, 26 points over Port Adelaide 2 weeks ago. Two bottom four sides. Port Adelaide are a fairly decent side, though. But we need skulls, and it starts here against Gold Coast. We've got the wins. We're ticking the boxes. That's all we need. Had we lost over Richmond and Port Adelaide, then I think our season's on life support, and I'd be in a play the kids sort of mantra. But we can play the kids, but there is also a direction still. There is juice left to be squeezed in 2026. I can't see this list competing for a flag next year. We need to add in players and change things up and whatnot. But for now, for this year, I still think there is something to be salvaged in 2026. I'm not anticipating a flag or anything like that. That's long, long ways away. I don't even think we'll finish top 6, but I do think we can put ourselves in wildcard contention, 7th to 10th spot, and make an impact. 12 wins at the very least, and then go from there. But it starts here against Gold Coast on a 5-game losing streak. Now, I mentioned a bit earlier about statement wins for Gold Coast and whatnot. The reason for that is they play above their ladder position against us. And I did say for Port Adelaide and Richmond, don't be surprised if those sides play above their ladder position against us. It hasn't been the case, so I was wrong on that one. But for Gold Coast and also for North Melbourne next week, we just know we've got the buffer on them at times, but we just know these sides are going to play above their ladder position against us. They turn the heat, they turn the chicken up against us, and I'm not sure why it's the case. I think we allow it against Gold Coast and North Melbourne. So a massive 2 weeks against teams who are going to turn it up against us. And then there's Carlton, the old rival. Next 3 games, massive game as well. Gold Coast 11th spot, Carlton in 12th spot, North Melbourne in 9th spot. Teams that are 2 points beneath us, and North Melbourne 2 points above us. So for us, massive 3 games. We can win these next 3 games and still we haven't beaten a team above us because we've put these teams beneath us. And I just think with Gold Coast on a 5 game losing streak, their lack of defensive pressure, their 2-way runs not there. This game screams Ed Allen legacy game. Now, I'm not going to make that bold prediction or anything like that. I just think with the way we're tracking compared to where Gold Coast is tracking and certain players' forms and whatnot, just think like Ned Long last year against Sydney for gather round. I just think this screams Ed Allen, a breakout legacy game, the game that proves to Craig McRae, to the coaching staff, to his teammates, to us, to everyone in the AFL world that Ed Allen has arrived. Not the Gold Coast Suns have arrived, Ed Allen has arrived, and it's going to lead us to a victory. It's a massive game, and I think Ed Allen, this game is tailor made, cherry ripe for Ed Allen to make himself famous. And I know I'm singling out a player for this one. I know other players need to lift and improve since returning from the bye, but for Ed Allen, he's in great form right now. He's not been elite in terms of AFL midfielders or whatnot, but he's providing that point of difference in the midfield. Nick Dacos, Jordan De Goey, averaging 20 plus disposals and a goal a game in the midfield. Kicking goals as well. That's what we need. Our forward line, kicking goals, but no one's really standing out. Schultz 4 goals last week. Membry 3 goals. He's kicked 9 goals in the past 4 games, so I'll give him credit for that. Just not kicking goals on King's birthday lets him down. Dan McStay cracking the sads, but he's kicked 23 goals this year. He's contributing somehow, some way. We are still having some areas of our game where it needs to improve or we need to fix it. Otherwise, Gold Coast could exploit it. And if they win this game, then yeah, Craig McRae can absolutely see tearing up the game plan and just trying to figure out another game plan going forward. That's a big test as well for Craig McRae. The game plan, the tactics for this one, is he going to overthink this? Or if we lose this game, is he going to blow it up again? Will he make multiple changes yet again? That's another factor as well for our team selections. The injury list, I'll just get into it. Isaac Quaynor, a test. He was a test last week. He played against Richmond, but he's a test. Watch this space for Gold Coast. Braden Maynard, Will Hayes, Noah Howes, all a test or to be assessed for their shoulders. I'd expect Maynard to return through the AFL. Will Hayes, I think more so through the VFL. Noah Howes will be the VFL. I can't see him being called up for a debut. And you got Darcy Moore, no timeline yet again. But it does leave a bit of selection speculation in terms of players returning from their injuries. Isaac Quaynor, 50-50. Braden Maynard, 50-50. And if Craig McRae wants to add speed to the best 23, Will Hayes provides that up forward, particularly with Lockie Schultz being that lead out forward, basically playing the Jamie Elliott role, with Bo McCreary not providing much impact, even though he had a decent game last week, something to build off. Harvey Harrison provides pressure, but not much else, hasn't kicked a goal this year. Angus Anderson didn't just knock on the door, he kicked the door down for senior selection for this game. And you got Braden Maynard possibly returning, so that's at least 2 changes right there. I'm still of the mindset we need to call up a backup ruck in Harrison Coe or a Lero Smith. They're not going to dominate on debut or anything like that, but Darcy Cameron in the ruck, I'm starting to be concerned. And if we lose this game because of the hitouts and centre ball up attendances and clearances, I can see Craig McRae chopping and changing the lineup yet again to see what we can do in the ruck and whatnot. I can't see Darcy Cameron being dropped, but that's an area we need to improve on. We've got Nick Dacos, Jordan De Goey playing career best form right now. Nick Dacos being great as usual. Jordan De Goey, career best form. We can still add layers to our midfield group. We need to improve in the midfield group. Gold Coast as well. Bottom 4 for clearances in the competition just left me gobsmacked and mortified right now. I'll talk about the compare the pair a little bit later, but selection speculation. I'm not wanting 3+ changes. I was glad we went in with 1 change last week. Pendlebury in for Badatsky, not a like for like, but experience added. But for selection speculation, players available, I'm hoping Quaynor and Maynard are available. And I just think Angus Anderson comes in for either Harvey Harrison or Rowan Steele. I'm leaning towards Harvey Harrison. I think Angus Anderson provides just as much pressure in the forward line compared to Harvey Harrison. And Angus Anderson has the goals and the games on the board to back that up. Rowan Steele on the wing. Yeah, he's not going to get you 20+ disposals, but he hasn't been his usual self from the bye, but I'd rather Rowan Steele, the cheeky bastard, in over Harvey Harrison. And whoever's dropped, play the VFL. It's going to be interesting as well with the VFL playing in Coburg Saturday morning, Gold Coast, or playing Gold Coast up there for a Saturday twilight. Who's on the plane for any carryover emergencies? Who's not? Who's staying in Victoria? All to watch this space. But I'll have the team selections final word video up either Thursday night or Friday night. That's a watch this space. I actually do not know. I am busy in the next 24 hours, so that's all a watch this space. The watch this space for a watch this space segment on video. So yeah, sorry about that. But just with the compare the pair for Collingwood, we are still a bottom six side for points for, despite kicking 100 plus points last week. Can we put 100 plus points on a team above us? That's what we need to figure out. We are second in the competition for points against. I wouldn't look too much into that. If we concede 100 plus here against Gold Coast, we can go down to as low as sixth in the competition for points against. It is a bottleneck right there. So we'll take the praise and accolades right now for being the second best defensive side in the competition. Freo are the team to beat. But for us, we are improving defensively and also in attack as well. But can we continue improving with tougher opponents coming up? For the Gold Coast Suns, they're eighth in the competition for points for, 10th for points against. They've regressed to the means in a lot of stats and comparisons here. Collingwood, fourth in the competition still for disposals, sixth for tackles, second for marks. We are seeing improvements for marks inside 50, for goal efficiency and efficiency inside 50. That's all I can ask for. Continue improving inside 50, marks inside 50, goal efficiency, efficiency inside 50, and most importantly, putting it on the scoreboard for set shot accuracy and overall shot accuracy and conversion. Still missing in that sort of area. It's what's let us down for the last 2 weeks. We could have won by a lot more, but hopefully it all comes to fruition. All the stars align for this game against Gold Coast. The obvious issue for us, again, the clearances and hitouts. It has all the potential for our midfield group to be exposed against Gold Coast. But in saying that, though, the Gold Coast Suns, third for hitouts in the competition, but also bottom four for clearance work. So again, keys of victory. I'll talk about this a little bit later, but the main key to victory is the midfield group. Gold Coast on paper have the much better midfield group, but they are the biggest downhill skiers in the competition right now. But it has all the makings for a statement win and a quick response for Gold Coast, but we can't allow it. Gold Coast, their inside 50s, their retention inside 50s, their strength still. It's just their defensive work. Once it gets out the back door, that's where we can expose them in. So for our handballing game and our efficiency by foot and by hand and overall disposal efficiency, it can't be like last week. We need to connect heading inside 50, that quick rebounding game. Use the corridor, the Gold Coast Carrara ground. It's not a game where, or it's not a ground really where you can switch it up and go wide. Use the corridor. Attack them. Take it to them. I don't want to be timid. We were a bit timid against Richmond, and when we conceded heading inside 50 or turning it over using the corridor, we sort of went to a bit of a shell, to be honest. So I don't want to see that. Final quarter against the Bulldogs, the game against Melbourne, bit of teething issues and growing pains with using the corridor and whatnot. But against Richmond and Port Adelaide, there are signs there. We are improving for our attacking game. And it all needs to come to fruition and all the stars align against the Gold Coast Suns here. Otherwise, if it doesn't, I can see Craig McRae blowing it up and trying again. And it's one step forward, two steps back, unfortunately. But I have year of faith with Collingwood here against Gold Coast. I think our attacking game recently will all come to plan here against Gold Coast. Ed Allen, this game is tailor-made for him to have a breakout legacy game here. Nick Dacos, Jordan De Goey in the middle, they will have attention on them, but I expect them to perform to their natural standards. It's just guys like Pendlebury, Sidebottom, Crisp, any sort of experience in the midfield will be the point of difference. Bo McCreary, Angus Anderson, if he's called upon, just that bit of pace and point of difference in the midfield as well. Ned Long, he conceded so many free kicks last year. Can he improve? Can he learn from last year? Has he evolved? Has he adapted to the current game in 2026? Can he not concede so many free kicks this time around? That's what I'm looking for here. And it is going to be a massive challenge for our back line to contain the Gold Coast attacking game. And if they can convert on the scoreboard, and for us as well, can we lower the eyes heading inside 50, find targets, be efficient, be potent heading inside 50, and most importantly, can we put it on the scoreboard? Again, last year it all fell apart. 0 goals, 10, halfway through the third quarter. Bullshit comeback, but we can't allow last year and also 2024 to be replicated. I'm not going to give Collingwood a pass mark if we lose a close game. It's just, can we take a scalp? Are we able to win 3 games in a row for the first time in over 12 months? This is a big game. It's an 8-point game. It starts here. Otherwise, we lose this game. Massive fortnight ahead against North Melbourne and Carlton will define our season. But again, it all starts here against Gold Coast. Collingwood leads the overall head-to-head, 11 wins, 5 losses. Those 5 losses are being Gold Coast statement wins. I'll mention that again. Collingwood, 27 wins, 23 losses in Queensland. 7-point loss in 2013, 5-point loss in 2014. 11-point loss in 2024 and 6-point loss last year. The last time Gold Coast have lost 6 games in a row was in 2019. They ended up losing 19 games in a row. So I don't expect them to lose 19 games in a row if they lose this game. But yeah, Gold Coast, they haven't had a handful of losses since 2019. It's typically been 1 step forward, 2 steps back since the start of 2020. 3 losses in a row, 4 losses in a row, stuff like that. So yeah, that 7-goal lead against North Melbourne to lose after the siren, it's sort of broken them. So we've got the potential here to pretty much bury Gold Coast here, to lose 6 games in a row. Their heads go down and they're figuring things out, the biggest downhill skiers right now. Another fun fact involving Steel Sidebottom, if he plays this game, AFL players in game 368, 9 wins, 4 losses. Pendlebury, Brent Harvey, Tuck, Bartlett, Fletcher, Boak, I wrote these down as well. Madden, David Mundy, Adam Goods, all winning in game 368. Burgoyne, Robert Harvey, uh, Bradley, they've all lost in game 368. Dangerfield lost in game 368 to Carlton last month. So yeah, just a fun fact, no real correlation, but if we win this game in Sidebottom plays, I'll jot it down for future reference. And the last time we played Gold Coast, we lost by 6 points, 8-15 to 63 to Gold Coast, 10-9, 69. 10 behinds halfway through the third quarter. Bullshit comeback, and then Ben Long kicks the quick response 2 minutes later. Gold Coast go back in front. Gold Coast get another goal, expand their lead, and they hold on for the rest of the game. Hopefully, it's not the case where Gold Coast get the buffer early on, get a 5-goal lead or whatever. We get the comeback, and then Gold Coast get back in front, and it's all for nothing. Hopefully, it's not the case. Otherwise, I'll squeal. The first key to victory is we've got to win out of the midfield. Bottom 4 teams in the competition for clearance work. Bit surprising, Nick Dacos, one of the best players in the competition. Jordan Agoe, career best form in the midfield, also up forward. And Gold Coast have Anderson, Rao, Petrarca, Tuke Miller, and a few others that can go through the midfield. But to be bottom 4 in clearance work for both sides, very disappointing for both of us, particularly for Gold Coast right now with their form slump. For us, big chance here to win the midfield, not break even, but simply win out of the midfield. Second key to victory for the midfield group again, 2-way run and sustained pressure. Gold Coast, humidity, it's tough weather conditions for us. Sun's lacking pressure around the ground, the defensive work, quick transition game and whatnot. It's not there for Gold Coast. In fact, you put it on Gold Coast, they concede so quickly. So yeah, that's an area there for Gold Coast to be exploited in, and for Collingwood to win out of the 2-way run, sustained pressure around the ground, inside 50, forward 50 tackles, and quick transition out defensive 50. Dan Houston rebounding off defensive 50. That one kick heading forward, or the handball game needs to be converted perfectly, be accurate by foot, by hand, and we can exploit Gold Coast out the back door. The third key to victory, whose stars align better? Nick Dacos, Jordan DeGoey, in the midfield, that is. Pendlebury, Sidebottom, Crisp, other stars as well. Gold Coast with their midfield group. Who's going to perform better in this game? Our best players compared to Gold Coast best players. Massive point of difference there. But the fourth and final key to victory for me is, again, quote, you're only as good as your bottom 6 players. I'm not going to identify the bottom 6 players this time around. I keep saying that for this sort of key to victory, this point, and then I don't do it. I don't want to exploit or call out certain players or whatnot, but we're going to find out who our bottom 6 players in this game is compared to Gold Coast, and who has the bigger impact compared to us and the Gold Coast and their bottom 6 players. It's a mini elimination final. It's a wildcard game to get in the wildcard contention and whatnot. Leave your thoughts down below. It's a detailed video, your comments, your thoughts on this preview, and just your expectations for Gold Coast. What would satisfy you? All right, we've had these wins over Port Adelaide and Richmond, but I think there's certain fans who are still disappointed, let down our overall performances. We're not box office. What would satisfy you? Is it just a simple win by any means necessary, or what would you want to see for a win against Gold Coast? Your thoughts down below. Recommend it. Share it around. Like it. Subscribe if you're not already. Blah, blah, blah. Follow me on Instagram. Blah, blah, blah. Besides all that, I'll leave you guys all to it. I'm hoping you guys have had a good week so far. Please be well, please be safe, and I'll see you guys either Thursday night or Friday night for the team selections final word video. Up the pies.